My mother-in-law asked at dinner. How long are you planning to keep pretending you can't speak Spanish? The whole table froze. I nearly dropped my fork because I had no idea what she was talking about. I'm sorry, what? I asked in English, my eyes flicking to my wife Diana for backup, but she looked just as startled. Patricia, my mother-in-law, just cut her steak calmly and said, I heard you on the phone yesterday. Fluent Spanish. Not the broken little phrases you use when I try to talk to you. You were talking about construction permits and legal documents. Perfect rapid Spanish. My throat went dry. I'd taken 2 years of Spanish in high school, but I could barely order food in a restaurant. That's impossible, I said quickly. But she was already reaching into her bag. She pulled out her phone, pressed play, and suddenly the dining room was filled with my own voice speaking in rapid-fire Spanish about the Henderson project. It was unmistakably me, my tone, my rasp when I get tired, but I had zero memory of that conversation. Diana grabbed my hand under the table. When did you record this? She asked her mom in a shaky voice. Yesterday afternoon, around 2, Patricia said smoothly. He was in the backyard, pacing, talking into his phone. My heart lurched because I remembered being in the backyard at that time, but I was planting roses, not talking on the phone. No calls, no Spanish. That's not me, I said, but even to my own ears it sounded hollow. Patricia's eyes narrowed. Then who was it? Someone who looks exactly like you, in your yard, speaking perfect Spanish about your job. I shook my head frantically. I swear I didn't make that call, but Patricia wasn't done. She leaned back in her chair, swirling her wine. This isn't the first time. Last month you were muttering in Spanish when you helped me move that furniture, and when the contractor came about my roof, you were chatting away until you noticed me watching. Then you switched back to English and pretended you didn't know what he was saying. The room tilted around me. I wanted to protest, but Patricia reached into her purse again and pulled out a folder of papers. She slid them across the table to Diana. Look at this. Your husband's name, address, even his signature. He's been working as a Spanish court translator for 2 years. Diana's face went pale as she scanned the documents. This says you translate legal testimony. David, what is this? My blood ran cold. I snatched the papers. Everything matched my identity. My name, my address, my signature, but I had no memory of applying for that job. This has to be a mistake, I whispered. Maybe identity theft? Patricia cut me off with a harsh laugh. She pulled out a photo, grainy but clear enough. Me, in a suit I didn't recognize, shaking hands with the judge outside the courthouse. Diana pressed her hand to her mouth. That's you, she whispered. That's definitely you. I wanted to scream because she was right. It was me, and yet I had no memory of that day, that suit, that life. I felt Diana's hand slip from mine. I need some air, she said, her chair scraping loudly against the floor as she rushed outside. Patricia leaned forward across the table, her voice low and venomous. Whatever game you're playing, it's over. My daughter deserves to know who she married. I stared at her, panic clawing at my chest. I'm not playing a game, I whispered. I genuinely don't remember any of this. If I've spoken Spanish, if I've worked at a courthouse, I don't know how or why. Something is very, very wrong with me. For the first time, Patricia's expression faltered, like she was unsure whether to believe me. She drained the rest of her wine and said, then you either need a lawyer or a psychiatrist, because either you're the best liar I've ever met, or you're losing your mind. Her words clung to me the rest of the night, long after Diana stopped answering my texts. The next morning, Diana and I sat in our family doctor's office. Dr. Reynolds listened carefully as we explained everything, then ordered neurological tests. Memory gaps this specific are unusual, he said. They can come from traumatic brain injury, early dementia, or dissociative disorders. The MRI revealed something shocking. Signs of a concussion about 18 months ago, right around when the courthouse employment records began. Reynolds tapped the screen, showing me the darkened regions of my brain scan. This type of injury can disrupt memory formation. It's possible you developed or relearned Spanish during a period you can't recall. The brain is remarkable at preserving procedural skills, even if autobiographical memory is gone. I sat frozen in the chair. The idea that I could live an entire life, gain entire skills, and forget them completely made my stomach turn. Diana held my hand but didn't speak. The silence between us felt heavier than the diagnosis. As we drove home, Diana finally whispered, so which is it? Have you been lying to me this whole time? Or do I have a husband who's missing entire pieces of his life? I didn't have an answer. All I knew was that the evidence was real. The recordings, the documents, the photos, and yet none of it existed in my mind. I could be a liar, a victim, or something worse. Maybe my brain had built an entire false timeline to protect me from the truth. Maybe the man Diana married was only a version of me, while another David lived a whole different life in Spanish that I couldn't remember. And maybe, just maybe, I was both men at once.